Hello everyone, this is Atul. So this is my first video that I'm shooting right now, and I'm really excited to tell you a beautiful story about endowment effect. What actually an endowment effect is and how this principle affects each and every aspect of our lives. So directly entering into the story. So once upon a time, there was an antique shop named as Morrow and Sons. This shop contained every archaeological, historical, and vintage thing that you could ever imagine of. So this shop was being owned by a man named as Elios, and he was responsible for selling all the old vintage things that were placed inside the shelves. Now, on one rainy day, there was a beautiful woman named as Clara that entered into a shop. She started observing the items that were placed inside the shelves. And as she was observing the things very carefully, Elios came up with a comment that the items that you're observing, each item has a very unique story behind it. So Clara laughed and said that this dialogue is something that is being said by every antique owner that she visits. So Elios took out a magnetic compass from the drawer and placed it in front of Clara. Clara took that magnetic compass into her hand, and she started observing the texture, what it was made of, and what's the design that it had on the magnetic compass. And she went into an imaginary phase where she started imagining that how she would be taking this magnetic compass to various adventurous journey, as well as how she would be placing that magnetic compass into her pocket. And Elios leaned towards Clara to take back the magnetic compass. This is where Clara pulled her hand back instinctively and directly said that how much does it cost. Elios said that it was not even meant for sale. Clara said that it's not even worth it. Why it's not for sale? Elios said that if it's not worth it, then why are you valuing it right now? Why are you eager to buy this magnetic compass? So even Clara got stuck. She went totally blank. This is where Elios came up with an amazing theory that he explains that ownership is a spell stronger than a reason. The moment something becomes there, its value grows exponentially. And this is what actually the principle of endowment effect is. But talking about Clara, Clara tried to hand over the magnetic compass back to the Elios. But as she was handing it over, the feeling of relief and guilt, the feeling of relief and guilt rushed over her at once, and unfortunately, at last, she ended up buying this magnetic compass. So, endowment effect, you might have got some idea what actually an endowment effect is. Endowment effect is a psychological and economic principle where once the feeling of ownership kicks in, the value and the attachment corresponding to a particular object or a person starts growing exponentially and proportionately. Um, and after some time, letting it go becomes really painful. The same principle, the same strategy is being used by various business owners. For example, when you enter into the Starbucks uh, shop, they will ask you what name they should write on your cup of coffee. And once you start watching that the Starbucks owners are writing your name on the cup of coffee, the feeling of ownership kicks in, and you start getting attached to that cup of coffee, and you are ready to pay any amount for this particular cup of coffee that has handwritten name on that has the name written on it. So this is what a basic example of endowment effect in real life you can relate to. The second thing is about Apple shop. When you enter in an Apple shop, the devices are placed in front of you, where you have the access to touch the devices. You can test the devices, you can personalize the devices. The main target is to make sure that the ownership kicks in, that now the device belongs to me, and you start getting attached to that particular device. So this is something that even Apple does. Even Netflix performs the same thing, that they will tell you that okay, you can use the services, you can use the services for a trial period, for example say 15 days or 20 days, and after that you need to pay for a billing cycle. But just within 15 days of duration, you start getting attached to the shows, and the feeling of ownership kicks in, that now this service belongs to me, and you are not able, and the customer generally is not able to resist to pay the next billing cycle. He ends up paying the billing cycle. The same thing is done by Amazon, where the Prime will tell you that you pay a premium and you would be getting 1 day delivery, free delivery, as well as the discounted rates on particular items, as well as you would be able to watch the various web series shows. Now this is something that most of the business does. But there's a Hindu scripture known as Bhagavad Gita. In Bhagavad Gita, endowment effect is very clearly highlighted, and it says that dwelling onto the object creates desire, and desire creates attachment. And once the people start getting attached, and the desire kicks in, this is where it creates a mess and the destruction of a human being. A man or a person that abandons the desire and gives up the craving without the sense of mine, ego, and pride actually attains peace. This was something that is related to endowment effect that I needed to share. That's all about today. If you like the video, please do share, like, and subscribe. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Bye bye.